Good day to everybody. We are here today for talking about international best practices for SMEs lending. My name is Flavio Ramella. This is module number 4, and I will start with an introduction. The introduction, as you are seeing, starts with the presentation of the teacher. As I said before, my name is Flavio Ramella. I want to tell you a little bit of who I am. First of all, I am not really a professor. I am not really a teacher. I may say I was not even a good student. But I am a person who has made quite an experience in two main fields. One field is banking, as I work for a major Italian bank for almost 25 years, and in SMEs, as I am myself an entrepreneur, and I'm running a pretty nice company since 12 years. My company activities is basically consultancy activity and consultancy activities to SMEs. SMEs in Italy, SMEs in the world. And I was requested to put available to you the experience I made in my life for trying to grow the knowledge of what SMEs are of importance in the world. By the way, I born in Milano in March 1953, so I am nearby to be 60. I am married with one son. Now, let's go through the introduction of the contents of this module, which is the first of a serial of 11. I called this starting point break the wall. Why this issue? What does it mean to break a wall? We are going to see it. We will start with a methodology, where methodology is more or less a concept. We are going to see what is the status, the actual status of relationship between enterprises and banks. Then we are going to see and try to understand why SMEs are considered the backbone of economic growth in many countries, and especially in developing countries. Third topic, it will be why banks should understand SMEs. And fourth will be why SMEs should understand banks. Last but not the least, we will challenge ourselves in understanding why it is very important to be capable to create a dialogue between banks and entrepreneurs and banks. Methodology. As I said before, here methodology stands more as a concept. Okay, now we are going to come across who are the players of this situation. We have the community. Community are the inhabitants of a country, of a region, meaning those which are looking, searching for job. Then there are entrepreneurs, which are those which are trying to create jobs in the area. And also bankers, which are, as the name says, those working inside the banking industry of that region, of that country, which are the financial support to the growth of the country. The exercise we are going to have during these lessons will be to understand and creating experience for entrepreneurs, experience for banks, and then putting those experiences together through training paths, expecting to be capable to create really a better understanding and a better environment for the SMEs. SMEs being the backbone of economic growth. Now, it is quite a common issue that nowadays most of the worldwide economy is based on SMEs, and so recognizing their importance, countries worldwide provide initiatives in support of SME. I may say that there is no country nowadays which has no or not yet an SMEs supporting program. Why to do this? As there are donors of funds granting loans directed to enterprises which are start-uppers and development. But very few projects are aimed specifically to teaching SMEs, entrepreneurs, how to effectively interface with the local banking system. Local banking system is composed by domestic and foreign banks which are operating in the country. Once the enterprise is fully running, it generally finds difficulty in receiving the necessary financial support to its activity. Why I'm saying that? In many cases, in many countries, there are funds which are available to start up. But when a company has started and then it needs of the financial support of the local banking industry, there are fewer or less funds available to the company. Banks should understand SMEs. This is a crucial issue, as it is very important that banks understand SMEs, as that is the starting point of the relationship. In the European Union, SMEs represent 99% of all enterprises. And you can easily imagine that if they do represent 99% of enterprises in European Union, what can be elsewhere? 47% of European SMEs feel that access to loan granted by banks, it is difficult. And this is the crucial issue. SMEs are representing 99%, and roughly 50% of them, they have difficulties in getting financial support from local banking industry. 71% of SMEs totally agree or tend to agree with the statement that banks do not want to take risk in lending to companies. And this is another important, very important factor. If companies, enterprises, they feel they are not getting support, enough support from banks, should be a reason. To lend money to small and medium-sized enterprises is considered by most of the bankers much more risky than lending money to big private or big state-owned companies. SME should understand banks. Because why SMEs has to understand the mechanism and why and in which manner banks are working. For the reason that banks, they have not only their internal corporate policy, but they do operate under the guidelines and under the supervision of the central bank. They operate under central bank supervision, which from time to time is not only the local central bank, but like does happen in Europe, there is the European Central Bank. They must respect ratios and internal rating, another important issue. Banks have constraints. Banks have nowadays to face common rules, and so not always they are permitted to have their own policy. The policy is made by rating agency, the policy is made by the stakeholders, the policy is made from outside players, which are requesting banks to respect ratio and criteria. The banks should protect shareholders' investment. This is quite an important issue. You know that in most of cases, banks are having shareholders, which are private individuals or other financial corporations, which have invested money. So they want to have their money, their investment being protected by a lending policy which is very much prudent, which is not taking too much risk. So sometimes the guidelines are addressing them not to lend money to small and medium-sized enterprises as they are considered too risky. Creating a dialogue. This is probably the reason for which I am here and you are listening to me. The exercise we are going to undertake during these lessons will be to try to be capable to create a dialogue between SMEs and banks. Specific experience on identifying common issues will enable representatives of banking and entrepreneurial world to meet and interface each other. The general concept is that during the lessons we are going to have together, we will create a situation which will facilitate a reciprocal understanding. It's a reciprocal understanding of the banker's approach to SMEs lending and reciprocal understanding of what the entrepreneur approach to a bank when it's going and asking for financial support. Which are the expected results I wish we will be coming to get? Better mutual understanding, improved capability to utilize grants and other supranational facilities directed to SMEs development. And this is a crucial issue. It's not infrequent that supranational organizations, governments or multinational organizations are putting some good money, some loans, some grants available to SMEs of a specific country, but then this money is not utilized. It's not utilized sometimes for the reason that banks are not promoting enough their capability of using this money. Sometimes it's not utilized for the reason that entrepreneurs are not aware about these funds or they are not properly trained for using these funds. Another expected result is more chances to network with other players. What I am intending to say with this, SMEs and bankers are two important players, but they are not alone in a country or in a region. There are other stakeholders which are in the picture that can influence the results of the performance of SMEs development. I am meaning precisely regional government, organization, labor organization, sectorial organization, unions, etc. Another expected result will be the improved lobbying capabilities towards national and international governments body. What I am intending to say is that if there is a better dialogue between banks and entrepreneurs, they together can be going and talking to governments, national government, or even international government bodies. As you know that in most of the situation, the money coming from international organizations like World Bank, IFC, UNIDO, or other major players is directed to certain segment of industry, to certain regions after a very long government negotiation, meaning that two governments or one government and supranational are negotiating in order to get financial support. And this financial support is given only if there is an effort from all the stakeholders in representing why the money is needed and what the money will be used for. Building up common strategies, creating wealth and stability. You know, the ultimate target of this serial of 11 lessons is that if a country is capable to build up a growing economy based on SMEs development, thanks to the support, the financial supports of banks, is going to create wealth. Wealth, we saw in the very first slides that 90% of the GNP of European Union is based on the activities of SMEs. And SMEs are creating jobs, opportunity of working for many, and therefore also stability. A country where there is a little unemployment, a country where people got a job and they are working in small and medium-sized enterprises is for sure a stable country. And this is by fact, has been demonstrated since a long time. Okay. Now, we can proceed with deepening these arguments in the forthcoming lessons or going into the website. Thank you very much for the time being.